Hello, my name's Aaminah and I'm going to be your tutor today. So we're going to start by doing a mix of different questions. So we're going to try and have a go at all the different sections of the 11 plus. So these questions are more specific to the GL assessment. Okay, so to start with, we'll start with some verbal reasoning questions, then we'll do some non-verbal reasoning, some maths, and then we'll finish off with some English. And if you're unsure about anything during the lesson, just let me know and I will try my best to help you. Okay, so for the first section, what we're going to do is I want you to read through this example and then I want you to have a go at question number 1. And if you're unsure, let me know and we'll go through it together. So I'm going to give you a few moments to read through it and tell me what you think number 1 might be. Okay, so you're unsure, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so it says in this question, one letter can be moved from the first word to the second word to make 2 new words. So we've got the word pound and we've got the word or, right? So we've got 2 words and it's saying to us you have to move one letter from the word pound and give it to the word or. So we're just taking one letter from pound and give it to the word or, and then we're going to have 2 new words which still make sense. Okay, and you can't otherwise rearrange the letters. So we can't move things around. So I can't take the U away and then move the P and the O around and switch it around to make a word that makes sense. We're just taking one letter and giving it to the other word. So we've got pound. I'm going to take the U away from pound. And if we have a look at what we'll have left, we'll have P-O-N-D, which will spell pond. So that word still makes sense because pond's a word. And then we're going to give the U to the word or. And we're going to put it right between the O and the R, and then you've got the word hour. So it still makes sense, and we've not moved anything around. We've just taken one letter from pound, our first word, and given it to the word or, which is our second word, and we've got 2 new words, pond and hour. Okay, so if we have a look at question number 1, and let's have a go at this one together. Okay, so we've got the word metal on one side, and we've got the word dough on the other side. And I'm going to move one letter from the word metal and give it to the word dough. So if I move the word M, if I move the letter M, I'm going to be left with ethyl, right? And that's not a word, so that's not the correct one. So we'll keep going. If I move the letter E, I'm going to be left with metal. That doesn't make sense, that's not a word, so we can't move that one. But what if I move the letter T? I'm going to be left with M-E-A-L, which spells meal, and that is a word. So I can take the T, and let's see if it goes into the word though and still makes sense. Okay, so if I put it right at the end, I'm going to get the word thought, and that's a word, right? So now I've got 2 new words. I've got meal on one side and thought on the other because I took one letter from the word metal. I took one letter from the word metal and I gave it to the word though, and I got thought. So I got 2 new words, still makes sense, and I've not moved anything else around. Okay, so moving on, and we're going to remember what we just spoke about here, and we're going to have a go at question number 2. So what do you think question number 2 is? So we're working through it in the same order. So if we're unsure, we're going to work through it in the same order, and as we go along, we're going to get faster at these, okay? So I've got the word liner on one side and the word brother on the other. I'm taking one letter from the word liner and giving it to the word bother to give us 2 new words, okay? So what letter could I move? Right, so if we move the L, it wouldn't make sense because we'd have Ina, that's not a word. So we can't move that one. And what about if we move the I? Lina. Doesn't really make sense neither, so it can't be that one. Then if we move the N, we'd get liar, but that's not how the actual liar is spelled, so it's not that one. It's not a word. Okay, and what if we move the R finally? We'd be left with line. Excellent stuff. So you'd be left with line, and that's a word, so we can move to the letter R. So I'm going to try and put it into the word bother. If I put it first, I'd get rebother. That's not a word. If I put it after the B, I get the word brother. Right, and that's a word, so that's my 2 new words. Excellent. So your answer would be R, which is E. So we're going to select that one, okay? Let's have a go at question number 3. What do we think we're moving from the word biased to the word pant to get 2 new words? Well done, well done. So you moved the I and we put it into the word pant and we got paint. We had base on one side and paint on the other side. Excellent stuff. You're doing really good at these. And question number 4. What are we moving with question number 4? We've got the word chomp on one side. We've got the word tea on the other side. Okay. Just need to give you a moment to think about it. The M. Excellent work. Yep. So you've got chop on one side, and then you're going to put it into the other word, and you got team. Excellent stuff. You're getting a lot faster at these, which is great. Okay. So what about question number 5? What are we moving for question number 5? Right, yeah, so if we moved the P, you'd get a layer. That does make sense. Excellent. But you're unsure where to put in the word fight. That's correct. Okay, so this is one's tricky one, right? And they're trying to trick us out and try and see what are you going to move. Are you going to move the P because it still makes sense? So sometimes when you move a letter from the first word, it's going to still, first word might make sense, right? But when you try and put in the second, it's not making sense. So that's your cue to kind of move on, see if there's another letter perhaps that you can move, and see if that one fits better. Okay, so they might just be tricking you out by giving you false hope that, oh, you might move the P, but it won't really fit into the second words as much. Okay, so the L, excellent stuff. Yep, so if you move the L, you're going to get the word payer, which is a word, and we're going to move it onto the word fight right after the F, and you get the word flight. Excellent stuff. Okay, you're doing really well at these, which is great. So that was our verbal reasoning. Now, let's have a go at some non-verbal reasoning questions. So I'm going to upload the file onto here now. Just give me one moment, okay? So there we are. And that's loaded up for us. And that's nice and big. So have you seen these type of questions before? Yeah, yeah, that's excellent. Okay, excellent stuff. So with these questions, we have to figure out which one the odd one out is, okay? So there's a pattern that all the others are following, but one of them isn't following it, okay? So which one is the odd one out? So what do you think question number 1 might be? D, excellent stuff. Well done. So you got that straight away, which is absolutely amazing. So why do we think it's D? Excellent. Yep. So usually the pink dots in the inside and the black dots on the outside, but with D, they've switched it around. So that's why it's the odd one out. Excellent stuff. Well done. And what about question number 2? Can we have a go at question number 2? Okay, so we're unsure about this one. That's perfectly fine. Let's have a go at it together. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to look at, the shape. So I've got a hexagon, then I've got a rectangle, then I got a square, I got a rectangle, I got a triangle, and there's always this smaller shape on the outside. It's always the same. Yeah, all of them, they're always the same. That's nothing odd about that. Maybe it's the color. So let's have a look at the colors. We've got pink, we've got white, but then that one's also white, so that's not odd. And then this one's pink, and this one's also pink, so that's not odd. And neither is the colors on the outside shapes, okay? So nothing odd about that, because when the inside shape, for example, is pink, the outside shape's blank. It's not got color. Then when the inside shape's blank, the outside shape's got color, so the colors are always switched around. Okay, so there's nothing odd about that. So now I'm going to have a look at this line which is going through the shape. Okay, so on the first one, it's going right through the middle. It's making it symmetrical on both sides. Okay, same over here. It's split right down the middle of this rectangle. Okay, so you've got the same amount of rectangle on one side that you have on the other. Okay, with C, okay, so this one is not split down the middle, but let's have a look at the others and see if there's a pattern going on. With D, again, it's split down the middle. Interesting, right? Okay, and with E, also split down the middle, it's symmetrical on both sides. So, based on what we just said, which one do you think might be the odd one out? C, excellent stuff. Yeah, well done. So it is C. So when we look at C, it's not split in half, right? It's split at a really odd length right there. So we've only got a bit on one side and got a massive gap on the other side, but usually it's split right down the center. Excellent stuff. Okay, so we're quite good at non-verbal reasoning, aren't we? I think you've done it. You've only done it once before.